There the bombs may have dropped, but here the knives replace that mess.
Declaiming these lines, I am undoing the camel's hobble. Allah has raised me here so I can draw open the curtains.
The anger and resentment stayed with me for the majority of the journey. Oh, Ayeyo, it couldn't have been that hard to love me.
This is your world. Look up, wise up, stand up, speak up, go against the grain. Articulate before it's too late.
Thank you for everyone for coming along. It's really a great honor to see so many talented young Somalis, and especially poets. If you are a poet, give yourself applause. I think everyone can claim that they do everything else better than us, but poetry, I think no one can compete with us. True or not? So it's a really great honor. I'm the founder of Kite, Somali Art and Culture. I founded Kite Somali Art and Culture about 10 years ago now, 2009. The reason I founded was actually I started to work for Oxford House in 2006. And they had a small project called Somali Art and Culture. And the first time they asked me whether I wanted to do an weekend Somali events, and I thought really great opportunity. I was working for victim support then. I thought, okay, let me take this chance. And because I always, poetry and Somali culture always attracted me great deal. But also I think culture, art and culture gives really people from different viewpoint and cultural background and different experience, the platform, a way to talk to each other without really being nasty to each other. So that's what makes art and culture different than politics. That's what makes art and culture different than religion, and people have to feel like they have to fight. But I think art and culture gives space to all of us to express ourselves without threatening the other. And I think that's why I love culture and art and culture and free expression. So it was that project of Oxford House was Art Council funded. It ended in 2007. And then, of course, the first project that goes out of the window is a Somali project. But I thought this cannot be happening. End of the day, I was thinking, I was not doing this job because it pays, because it was not paying, actually, a lot. So, and I thought, okay, if they can do it, I can do it myself. I can do this for my own people. So that's why I founded Kite, to continue Somali art and culture, and to continue Somali Week, which was then weekend, so Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So when it was March, I remember, it was my first time that I really felt like I'm responsible for something, because all my other previous jobs was I was working for someone else. So then you feel, okay, I'm not gonna look for a job. This is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna focus. I don't have one penny, but I'm gonna try it. And I'm so happy this year. We are 10 years on, and we're gonna celebrate 10. We are gonna celebrate 10 years anniversary of Somali Week, Kite Somali Week Festival. Not the Somali Week, as it was previous, but Kite Somali Week Festival. What's so important about Kite and Somali Week Festival, I think, the way I have visioned it for myself is I wanted to create, and there was a place for religious people. There was the mosque. There was a place for people who want to do politics, and that's every other platform. But there was no place where young people and who want to just kind of talk to each other can come together. And but also there was a platform for Somalia, there was a platform for Somaliland, there was a platform for Djibouti or whatever else, but there was no place you can be just Somali. So where Somalis being ethnicity, because I think a lot of young people also even here are struggling with, don't understand Somali is not a national identity. it's ethnicity. It's just by blood. We just happen to be Somali. And I wanted very hard to promote a place where diversity, Somalis, whether you're hijabi, non-hijabi, religious, from Somaliland, from Somalia, from Djibouti, don't speak Somali, naked, half naked, can come together. So that is actually the idea of Somali Week Festival. And I think tonight seeing you all, that really demonstrates. And I'm very proud that I have made the decision 10 years ago to create this space for Somali young people and older people can communicate to each other. I think we have a lot of issues in terms of intergenerational issues. There are also issues on if it comes to are we Londoners, are we British, are we Somalis, what are we Arabic? And also I thought because of that identity, I think Somali Week and Kite will contribute. And actually, that's why Somali Week is part of Black History Month. And because I personally believe we have to also come in terms with our Black identity. Sorry. And we happen to be, we're Muslim, we're Black, we're from Africa, we come from 5 different nations, and we are now, you guys are Londoners. And I think this the Kite, that's what what it offers, a place where young people can come together, can invite others, non-Somalis, can show that Somalis are not only terrorists, they are not only this, but also there's talent. Activists, poets, artists, journalists, academics, that is a place where I hope they will meet, they will keep meeting each other and have that dialogue. What do we want? Who we are? Asking the right questions. But also think about, we are here now. How do we interact with the wider community, with British community? Because I think a lot of young Somalis who are born here, they are British and they need to also interact with the other British community, whether they're from Bengali, white Caucasians. But at the same time also, I'm very happy that I moved on and I could bring on someone who's 10 years younger, who understands you much better. So Hanna here. Yeah? I think the problem also often we have is the people who found things, they are very uncomfortable to let their baby go. Huh? So I'm very happy to let go Somali Week and to give it over to someone who's much younger, who's Londoner, who also can take Somali Week to different level. And I hope all of you, celebration of 10 years will be not only celebration of Somali art and culture, but also you will be able to celebrate with Hanna to take the Somali Week to the next 10 years to the different level and with your input. Thank you ever so much. And Hanna will take over from here. Like I haven't handed over her only to Somali Week and Kite, but also to this evening. Hanna, thank you. Come, welcome.
Hello. That was an amazing speech. Thank you, Ayan. That was very kind of you. No pressure at all. So my name is Hanna Ali. I think most of you are here because you know about Somali Week Festival and you know about the amazing work that Kaid has done for the last 10 years. So talk a little bit about the background to this event tonight. So in December 2017, so a few months ago, Kaid Somali Arts and Festival were one of 6 community-based organisations who were awarded funding in the Mayor's citizen-led engagement programme for London. And this programme was aimed at building relationships and to develop civic leadership in communities that currently do not have a voice in City Hall. For us here at Kaid, we felt almost immediately that we wanted to research poetry. Having put on Somali Week Festival for what now will be the 10th consecutive year, as Ayan said, we have hosted hundreds of poets, and some of our greatest living poets have also, from the Horn and the diaspora, have attended Somali Week Festival. And this was our chance to not only keep displaying poets, but to find out really why poetry means so much to Somalis. This project was designed to find out what poetry means to Somali Londoners and why it is so prevalent in the Somali community. There seems to be a high proportion of Somalis who consider themselves poets in the City of London, myself included, and our aim is to find out why that is and why it matters to us. Essentially, our message to City Hall and to the Mayor's office is that this is one of the ways in which City Hall can get access into the Somali community. Access to our concerns, our opinions, our hopes and fears is through poetry. So we conducted a survey based on 65 Somali Londoners living across London through a questionnaire which had 25 questions that was divided into quotes, open questions, closed questions, and multiple choice. And it was employed, doing this, we employed 15 peer researchers, a lot of them that are here tonight, who asked carefully constructed questions on how Somali Londoners experience both poetry and the city. This survey concluded only a couple of weeks ago, and our initial findings are really interesting. Some of the things that we have found is that 81% of participants have stated that they have a poet in their family. 81% of participants stated that poetry helps Somalis connect with others and play a more active role in London. And 65% of participants had written a poem in their life. Quite extraordinary numbers, considering that we went out to the wider community of Somalis who otherwise had not declared themselves poets. Hopefully tonight will inspire those of you in this room who write poetry or want to write poetry to share your voice with us in the future, because of course nobody can tell your story better than you can. Thank you. So we're going to start off now with a performance from our headliners, Asha Lul, Yusuf, Mohamud. Yes, definitely. Where are your applause? It's the Asha Lul. And we also have the amazing Clare Pollard, who's going to be also reading poetry with her. So Asha Lul Mohammed Yusuf is fast emerging as one of our most outstanding Somali poets, as well as a powerful woman poet in a literary tradition still largely dominated by men. Her work began getting published on Somali websites in 2008. And since then, she's rapidly gathered a great deal of praise, and her poetry collection, The Sea Migrations, published in 2017 by Blood Axe Books, with the Poetry Translation Center, was Sunday Times Poetry Book of the Year. Many congratulations for that. Reading alongside her, we also have Clare Pollard. Clare Pollard has published 5 collections of poetry with Blood Axe, the latest of which is Incarnation, released in 2017. Clare's play The Weather premiered at the Royal Court Theatre, and her translation projects include a version of Ovid's Heroines, which she toured as a one-woman show, and a co-translation with Saeed Jama Hussein and Mohammed Hassan Alto of Asha Lul Mohammed Yusuf Sea Migrations, which was Sunday Times Poetry Book of the Year. And she's the new editor of Modern Poetry and Translation. So welcome to the stage, Asha Lul and Clare.
waa mahadsantihiin sida wanaagsan aad uga soo qayb gasheen aad baan ugu faraxsanahay inaan dhalinyaro Soomaaliyo inta leeg aan ka hor akhriyo gabay Soomaaliya waa guul afkeena u soo hoyatay inoo soo wada hoyatay especially idinkoo qurbo ku dhashay oo ku koray idin soo hoyatay gabaygan kulli ba dhinaca Ingiriisiga ku akhrisan doontaan oo aad u fahmaysaa laakiin nimanka waan idin akhriyaa insha Allah waxa la yiraahdaa gunaad way maqlaysaa Soomaha hay بسم الله إن دويت بجبي جي مجالين كلا جور كيسية كوجوس مسافات كيه جورو لجو هسو قرار كمان صدا ما فرين جبي بسوجاني مرتجع ولا جوسو شبنا وانك جاب صداي دع مركان جفية بمد كلا جلو كيه راي عن جدار شعاو كلا نجرف كبحشاي قري ضيّا دوبا دمركي يقول أنا قومي يجيب الكنبي آذان يحاول نجوي تلو جيت كيا حارية جرادة كوراري قدودين كيرواتي هي لما بجارانك قدعر ترى ده اللي جويه ما نقول لك هينه إسكار واقصة Somali جرشة بينه جيش كادرين على الدجاج جوني الله حراي godobaan la sababaynin baa guudka loo sudhay waa guuldarri iyo hog dhibkaan laga garaabayne taariikhku raacan weeye oon geesna qabanayne odayada nafsiga soo galee weli ku gaashaaman guntintay xidheen baan rabaa inaynu goyna gunaad raagi weeye horgumo gogasha noo taalle haddaynaan gilgilashada xumaa gacanta loo taagan innaguna garaadyarida taal waa la gelaynaaye odayada nafsiga soo galee weli ku gaashaaman guntintay xidheen baan rabaa inaynu goynaaye ummadan gooni loo riixayee geeska lagu feedhay guhaaday qabaan baa qalbigu ila gariiraaye gaar loo faquuqay naftani hibasho goohdaaye gujadaa qanjaa laga gashaan gama la diidaaye gaardarrada dadkaa lagu falaan gaba xilmeeyaaye odayada nafsiga soo galee weli ku gaashaaman guntintay xidheen baan rabaa inaynu goynaaye Somali guniyo waa gobiyo kala gurkaad sheegtay gadmadoobahaad ciishay iyo gabanadaad dooxday gamboleyda aad bacsatay iyo gurintirkaad reebtay gashaantimaha guurbeelay waa gumaro kuu taalle odayada nafsiga soo galee weli ku gaashaaman guntintay xidheen baan rabaa inaynu goynaa angunaanadkii mariya iyo hadal guddoonkiise waa giraan wareegayso oo dunidu waa guure harka labada gelin weeyo iyo galaba waa cayne gabooyuhu guddoonshay ahaan gaadha meel sare geediga marun buu ku furi guri barwaaqaade guushka iyo malabkay ka guran gudamadeeniye geelaa u dhaliyo marbay gaxda laba maali insha allaahu guulaan bariye way u geli maalin
The scab. Recently, I haven't recited Gabe. I can't grapple with it. The task of intoning, chanting Masafat and Guru. I've not recited Gera nor any of the canon. I'm not prepared to give you a poem which is a half-empty milk vessel full of unsealable holes. Let me gift my opinions with concision and clarity. When Allah formed man from the dust of the ground, made Eve and the prophet Adam from whom we were begotten, O my kin, who swept the grubby earth under the tree and gave you a crown, who said you were a leader of high caste granted privilege. Decisions made in darkness never meet with success. O Somalis, get a grip, you've been convinced by a lie. A section of our society lives among us segregated. Gall and indignation seeps from this mistreatment, this ghastly condition, and disasters show no sympathy. History is twisted, our grotesque deviation lacks reason. The older generation turns grief into fate, guards the cruelty of caste. Let's get this complex knot untied. It is an old, hardened scab from a gash, an infection awaiting remedy. If we don't feel disgusted or hesitate before malignant deeds, if we don't gainsay it, we're complicit. The older generation turns grief into fate, guards the cruelty of caste. Let's get this complex knot untied. People have been set apart, gravely bullied. My heart beats angrily, is crushed with gloom at this unfairness. It grinds in my mind how they were pushed away. I can't sleep for thinking about punched jaws. In a gaping space, I weep for their grim treatment. The older generation turns grief into fate, guards the cruelty of caste. Let's get this complex knot untied. Somalis, you profess belief in the noble gob and the lower caste gun. Those blackbeards angered over the children you disemboweled. You goad their married women, brutally rape them, get them pregnant. Their women of marriageable age are too low grade for you. The older generation turns grief into fate, guards the cruelty of caste. Let's get this complex knot untied. Summing up my argument and dedication to this cause, no one lives forever. The world is a fleeting glory, just shadows which shift all day, shape size and where they're going. The Gaboye will one day rise in status. Their destiny will be peace and growth, strength under great pressure. They will gather honey and supple leaves in our lowlands. Their female camels will give birth, udders groaning with milk. They shall overcome hardship one day, God willing.
waddankeena quruxdiisa in yar aan ma wada dhameyn kare dad iga hersariyaa jiray marka in yar baan ka insha Allah aan ka taabtay cirka oo guhooro hilaac galaalcaleeyo daruuruhu gufaacada guurguurayaan oo godolkii la hibitiqay xareedii gayiga iyo goglantahay jidhaanto godamada ka buuxdo baliyada gungimayeen ubixii gardhoobo gaasheeyay midabkoo guntimuhu sinmeen oo ay garaacayso laydhi dhirtuna ay guniya baargadafka isku hayso laamaha gankoodii iyo faraqiis gaadheen shimbiruhuna geesteed hadba gooshcodkoodii googoynayaan oo rahuna gaar sula baxay oo labada goorood gabalka iyo waagaba gobo leeday dhibicdii hoobaan guduud iyo dhafaruur go'ay soo guudku wada casaado garab taal midcaanyadu jinowgii gardhoobo caleentii gayiga iyo ay guudka qariso guranaya uunkii gorayga iyo cawshii giir qurux ugaadhii garanugta idilkeed gaangaambinayso hadba geed magoolkii mayraca ku goostaan geeliina dhalayo geesweyntu dararto adhigiina godol yahay xooluhuna gebigood isha aad la gaadho geesaan fogeyniyo guriga ayag daaqaan gabankii la joogiyo kuraygii go' qaato intay hadhac golaysteen gogaalaysigoodii googoostay sheekada halihii gobaad iyo gorod ay lahaayeen oo nirgii ku gooho darartii gubayso oo isu guuxay ololkii inta gooraca weysimahaaneedkii lala galay dambarkii ku gaaxdiya laga gurayo ubahoo gorofkii la culay iyo gaawihii la buuxsho gebiba beeshu negi tahay galadaan tilmaamee geyigeena taaliyo nimcadaa gadhoodheen cidi weli galaan darin allahayowna garansi
Our land. The sky is full of spring signs, lightning flashing everywhere, clouds heavy with rain, slow in their movements, ready to pour generously. The land inundated with rainwater, filling the pits and pools in full. The flowers blossoming with so many colours, each in full bloom shaken by the breeze. The trees from top to bottom straight as lines, their leafy branches touching one another. The birds for their part gathering in flocks, singing a shared tune while frogs emerge in their own way. At both ends of the day, morning and evening, the rain steadily falling, the ripe dafara fruit completely coloured in crimson, the midyayo fruit close by, the jinno tree in full fruition, grown leaves covering its height, ready for plucking. The ostrich and antelope basking in beauty, along with the gazelle taking their time, feeding on blossoming trees with relish. Camels giving birth to calves, cows with drooping udders, sheep and goats ready to milk, all the livestock within your sight, whichever way you look, grazing near the homestead, the herding youth in their white sheets, resting in the shade, passing time with games, chatting without care, and the she-camels, Gorad and Gobad, hearing their calves cry, feeling the weight of their milk, responding to the call. While evening is still young, the herders take positions, draw the longed-for milk from the she-camels into smoke-cleansed vessels, filling them to the brim in this peaceful settlement. Recounting this heaven that can be found in our land, such abundance overflowing, such purity and plenty, we must thank God.
Bismillah. daada gabay dabuubta iyo murtida dooda hadalkayga waxaan uga dan leeyahay inaan danaha sheegaaye dadweynuhu waxaan doonayaa inaan dadaallaaye dulmigaa dhacaya aan rabaa inaan dilaacshaye tahriibtaa dadkeenii rogtaan dayr ku xidhayaaye u dulqaadan kari waaye oo aan damqanayaaye jidhkaa iga dubaaxiya markaan dib u jalleecoodo inta aan ilmada daadiyaan dibinta ruugaaye afrikaa dhib daris looga dhigay daayina bidkeede soomaaliduna kaba darano way ugu dambaysaaye qalbigaa intuu daxal ka galay daamir wada yeeshay damiirkay wadaniga lumo waa dad baaba'ay dareenkii wax garanayay baan digiga xoonayne dabin la isu dhigay weeye oo duul kala xidhay diiwaanka waxa inoogu qoran doorkii Falastiine dilaal iyo madaneeye aan diirin baa dooxay shacabkii dilaal iyo malaal baa midba dacalka haystay hadii laga dareero dalkii dooni laga raacay deeba qaraariyo haduu dacarin oo yeeshay dulin iyo abaariyo haduu diirato horseeday daad laga ordaayiyo haduu degal madow yeeshay duufaanka caayiyo hadii duuma laga qaaday duqeyd iyo caruurtii haday dabadu soo yaacday dalka yaa u haritolo markaa waa dareen yimi waxa jaduuduban iyo sheeka daba dheere da'yartaa dhammaatiyo waxaa dumar idlaanaya diracyada tahriibaya ee dabargo-a u taagan dihaalka gaajada kuwaa dibad wareegaya badahay dul heehaabayaan damalladeennii diibkiiyo iyo xaaska cunoo daaqay lafahoode dugaagiyo waraabaa daldala darabsidoodiiye duleedkaa la soo wada wadhiyo dacalkii xeebaaye iyagoo dubkiyo diirkii baxay baa la daawaday waa kuwaa darxumo leedayaan dugan kari weynay damac baa dadkaygii galo way dawamayaane dayoobaynu wada noqonayo waysdib maraynaaye dibi socod ayaan wada nihiyo dowlad jaahilehe dawarsiga ku naaxaan nihiyo doonis ruux kale eh diifaan dhammaanaynin baa loogu dawgalay afartaa intaan dabar ka furay diirad ma ku eegay darajada ilaah baa baxshee ma uga furay daaha doorkii abwaanadu horey ugu daliisheene delayda maansada horey ugu daqiijeene aniguna ka dabageeyay waan ku darayaaye waanadu kuway deeqday oo raaca danahooda iyo kuwa dariiqii waanaa diinta ku ekaada daayinow ilaahow ka yeel dabargo weeyaane waxba gabayguyuu ila durkina waan dabranayaaye haddii dalaga aan beegranoo dooga la abqaalo nimcadaa inoo darartay iyo badahan duuduuban buuraha ilaah noo dajeegoda la soo daatay badroolka diliqlaynaya duxayo hoostooda macdantaa dinkiigtiyo haddaan dahabka soo saarno dunyada haddaan dhaqanno oo doobi laga buuxsho dastuurka iyo cilmiga laysbaro diinta la adkeeyo dalku wayna wada deeqayaa aynu dibi joogno daaquudka aan naara iyo ducufka shaydaanka oo khayraadku waa dihin yahay aan dibnaha saarno
The Sea Migrations. Declaiming this poem, Agape, I alliterate indeed to start debate, to disseminate, to disclose to you, the public. Hey you, be diligent, I'm trying though it's difficult to demolish the injustice, demolish the status quo. Sea migration disables my people, I want to drive it back. I can't endure what's happening, it's like I feel the damage. My body jerks distressed every time I see them desolate. Tears stream down my face, I chew blood from my lips. All Africa has dilemmas, there are always disputes, but in this distressed continent, Somalis sink down to the bottom. Their hearts only detest, have rusted and deadened. Love for their country's disappeared, they self-destruct. The conscience has departed, the compassion is mislaid. In a trap laid by others, they act despite their interests. Acts seem predetermined, we're destined to be like Palestine. People don't give a damn, civilian deaths hold no interest. The dealer and the middleman draw the deadly game out. If people abandon their homes and decamp by boat, debilitated by hurt, the unjust discrimination, unable to stand delay in the country of their descent, if thugs dispossess and murder and there's disaster and drought, if dust storms blow, dispersing infection and plague, if children make a dash, the elderly decide to go, then my people, I demand, who'll stay behind in our country? Interesting question I've asked, isn't it? A matter to consider. Look at the hordes of women. All the young who drown, disappearing onto ships, dissolving on the crossing, all those deprived of life's basics adrift outside their country. Our future floats bloated in sea, is a corpse dragged on sand. They are devoured, picked dry by sharks and sea creatures. Wild dogs eat them like darab, the best camel fat, and many dead bodies lie decaying on our shores, defiled by strangers' eyes, skin peeled off their carcasses. Their lives end in distress, and there will be no decent burial. My people are dull with greed, they get rich or die trying. We are filled with bewilderment, disordered and backbiting, a state that can't read, a reactionary herd. We only do well at begging, pleading for dollars and food. We are snared in a cycle, in endless poverty. Declaiming these lines, I am undoing the camel's hobble. Allah has raised me here so I can draw open the curtains. Decades ago, poets first stated the truth of this debate. They devised a chain of poems which we call the Deely, and I've drafted this poem and I add it to the chain. Let us use words as a prayer. Let the advice be followed. Let us tread Allah's path, devote ourselves to his order. O deathless Allah, change us before we are destroyed. Let me not drag out my poem, but deliver an ending. If we cultivate our land, if we dig in our crops, if we discern our natural wealth and the rich deep ocean, the mountains Allah made for us ready to be mined, the fossil fuel that drips in the dark underground, the mineral deposits, the reserves of gold, the domestic animals, milk to fill milk jugs, if we develop our people in knowledge and faith, the country has abundance. Let us return and reside. Let us purge demons, dispose of devils and their deeds. We have not used our resources. Let's do it now.
That was incredible. One more time for Asha Lul and Clare, please. Okay, next up we have one of our brand new poets that we're really excited to showcase, who also was one of our peer researchers in our project, Mohamed Mohamed. Mohamed Mohamed is a Somali American studying at the University of SOAS for her term abroad. She is a diasporic storyteller with experience in photography, videography, and poetry. Her poetry is often reflective of her experiences as a black Muslim woman and is quite multifaceted and nuanced as her identities are. She writes raps in her free time, and she has an Instagram art page called @the1nomad. Mona.
I'm Mona. Thank you for the intro, Hanna. Let me just unlock this phone real quick. How's everyone feeling tonight? Good? Something I love about poetry things is it takes you through a whirlwind of emotions. So my first poem is really depressing, content warning on female genital mutilation. And my next poem is going to be really upbeat and happy. So, okay? All right. I only see dark ghosts lurking in my past, faded memories of fresh blades, a knife left bloody as it cut off shame. We are taught to shame our bodies before love them, cut them before hug them, sew them into silence, yet shh us when we ask, what happened to me? Who did this and why? Imagine losing parts of yourself before you were old enough to know what they were. My first bad word was aib. It means private. Aib was the response to every time my body would talk. Aib was my body. My body was my first bad word. Aib is the only way I know how to talk to my body. I hold my body in private, and aib is what happens when I try to break out. Aib is a jail cell that parts of me have always been locked in. I entered this cell at age 9, when I first realized my body was different. A woman is a joke, and her body is the punchline. I remember the first joke made about my body. My mother looked over at my aunt and asked, have we checked our halales recently? Halal is the word they use to describe what is permissible, like meat. They chuckled, a laughter drenched in pain or conformity. I can't tell the difference. When they cut parts of me, I became halal, became permissible, became every man's dream. Did you know that you are a fantasy? How dare we leave you open? It's funny how my body became a public matter the day they called me gabar, how they make you think your body was born in private, a secret. It's no wonder we've always been good at keeping those. My body is a secret I keep in private. Back home is the place I am most insecure. When I went back home, I learned to be private. When I was 9, I learned my first secret. When they ask me where I'm from, I don't know what to say. Back home, they don't talk about this. Back home, they don't talk. Back home, you are taught to fear yourself, to look in the mirror and never see enough. Girls here cut school to go on vacation, but we go on vacation to get cut. To some, woman means meat. And what is a man but a butcher? Patriarchy but a warehouse. And love something we search for in every man's chest. My home country cut me, and now hurt is my mother tongue. I call this diaspora daughter blues, a girl simply looking for a place to call home, a place that will hold her, caress her, kiss her on the cheek, and tell her she is whole, even if parts of her are missing, a place that will tell her the truth, what happened to her, who did this, and why. Thank you. Like I said, so I think poetry to me is something that Like, I mean, in Somali culture, for all of us that are Somali, we know we don't really talk about things sometimes. And I think poetry is the way I kind of like break out of that, because I think it's important to talk about things for our mental health, for like ourselves. Knowing about your body is important for all the women out there where we weren't taught about sexual health when we were young. So yeah, I kind of break out. This next poem is called Masterpiece. It's a poem about myself. It's really fun. It's short too, so. I ain't no masterpiece, no piece of a master. I am the whole picture. A canvas of golden imperfections, a scratched diamond with a clear reflection. The sun who shines when she feels like it. I be the moon. Black and misunderstood. My darkness is fierce, but you call it intimidating. Oh well, I am a book written in different scripts, searching for a language that tell all my story. My chapters are infinite. I grow every day. I grow up every day. I am a child and an adult, but my soul be 60. Calling me confusing ain't no different than catcalling. Understanding me takes more than seeing me. It's dangerous when Black folk are only seen by others. It always ends with someone dying. I have eyes with X-ray vision, can see the supremacy behind the interactions with the store clerk, the soft buried in the strengths of our mothers. My softness is strong. When I cry, I scare people. When I smile, I scare people. My life is in chains and I spend my time dancing my way out of them. I can hear the African drum in the stomps of my feet, the through my sighs and my screams. I am an art piece, a piece of art, an untold story, their afterthought, my first thought, the one who was born resisting, a puzzle piece that fits no political party, unwritten and unknown, unmastered yet whole. And man, ain't that carefree? Thank you. And thank you to Cade, Somali Arts and Culture, and Hanna for like planning all this out. They've been great at managing it all. Yep, all right.
I heard a lot of snaps from Muna, so well done. Next up, we have another incredible poet who was also one of our peer researchers, Suhaama Elmi. Suhama, also known as Susu, is a 22-year-old passionate writer who expresses herself through poetry inspired by her Somali heritage. She's member of the East Collective, which is a collection of artists and creatives, and she can be found both on Instagram and Twitter at Susu Creates. Suhama?
Oh, hello. Sorry. The first piece I'm going to read, can you all hear me? Yeah? Okay. Sorry. The first piece I'm going to read is called Home is Where the Heart Is. They say home is where the heart is, but my heart is cracked and leaked into pieces of them. Blissfully unaware, they carry on living with pieces of me in them instead of me with them. Unable to find the missing pieces of the puzzle that is my heart, I roam the streets in search of my home. As I cannot be accepted into one because of the other, too diluted for Hoya's home and too hated for the other. I sit amongst the titles that define me and contain me. I cry as the home I cradled burns me, and die as the home I longed for shuns me. Once again, I'm reminded that I am too diluted for Hoya's home and too hated for the other. The tongue has been dipped into a home and my body in another. I dream of your home and pray it holds me like she held me. Like she cradled me when I cried, not knowing what was right. Hoya Ma'an taught me my land, yet my tongue feigns its existence. They say home is where the heart is, but I must be void of a heart if I have no home to call my own. Sorry. The next one is called Letters to Myself. It's a series that I've begun, and it's called I See You, and I'll see what you guys think of it. It's kind of like my relationship with like anxiety and depression. I see that you're chipping off parts of your heart again, that you're trying hard but failing again, that you're back to carrying sorrow in your feet and in your mind. Must I remind you that your love is precious and should start at heart and not at large? For who will chip at their own heart for you? Not a soul, not a damn soul. For the river will continue flowing when you obstruct her. For a fire will continue burning without your need for her. I see you. I see that food has become a chore for you again, that you sit blinking blankly back at the screen that bounces pictures. I can hear your empty giggles echoing through the room again. I can see the pained smile stretched over your face. I see you. I see what hurts you the most is the lack of realization from them. I see you killing yourself for them while accepting the empty reciprocation. Beloved, why do you continue to torture yourself so? I see you. And I'm telling you to pick up those broken chips that are you and to heal those cuts. I'm telling you to hold your tongue for yourself. I'm telling you to love yourself. This fight won't last forever, my love. Soon joy will return and ease you that smile. Soon joy will return and be injected to those giggles and into your blood. I see you because I am you.
Wow, that's so beautiful. Thank you, Suhama. Next up, we have Abdulrazak Farah, who is going to be reading to us in Somali this evening. He's been volunteering with Somali Week Festival for a number of years. Abdulrazak is known as Ilyas East across social media. He considers himself to be more of a comedian than a poet, but we always believe that if you write poetry, you're a poet, so this is it now. His hilarious videos, really, really funny, can be found on Instagram, Ilyas_East. Ilyas? Abdulrazak? Give it up.
السلام عليكم دمانتين. Okay, Hanna aad baad maasanta waa soo dhaweyntaada waxan. Laba gabay ayaan runtii halkan ku hayaa. Gabay runtii aad u dheer maaha. Mid wuxuu ku saabsan yahay labadu runtii the based on true story. One is about the migration and the other one is about the drought that's happened last year in our country. So af Somali baan runtii ku akhriyaya haddaan ku bilaabo ka abaarta wuxuu ku bilaabmaya ha iska dhigin dhabcaalo dantaadun hadheehane dadka dhiban wax dheefsii ku dadaalna dhugashada haddii aad dhibtoon tahay dheehaaga guban yahay dadku kuguma dhaafeen dhamacdiyo abaartiyo oo maskiya haraadkee dadkeena u dadaalo degal u dawdaba dayr u duur xula dudududo u kuurgala dadkeena dhibtoone degalkoodu guban yahay dayrkoodu maran yahay daryeelkin u fidiyo deeqsinimo ku caanbaxa ninkii diidi jirayow ninkii dayri jirayow kii daryeelan jirayow kii dilaali jirayow maanta waa daruuro danta ceeb hamoodina dadkeena wax gaadhsii dayin haw gargaaree sidoo kale dadkaygow inuu dirirka cawleed ka hilaaco dooliyo dandan iyo hargeysiyo dooli iyo daalo iyo nugaaliyo daalo iyo nugaalo maasheeyo dacallada burco degaladeediyo dul ahaan dalkeennaba ducadiina aamiin kaas waa kaas runtii gabay maaha runtii aad u dheer laakiin waxaan dadkumaan ku guurgelinaya inay yacni donation sameeyaan oo dadka lacag iyo wax loo ururiyo dadkii ay abaaru ku dhaceen ka labaad isaguna runtii wuxuu ku saabsan yahay isaguna sheeko dhaba wiil aanu saaxiibanahay ayaa ku jiray dad soo tahriibay runtii baasha la odhan jiray marka doon ka soo baxday Masar ayuu ku dhintay ninka odayga ahi marka isagan ugu magac daray gabayga baasha la dhahaa haddaan bilaabo wuxuu ku bilaabmayaa bal maantaba baasha aaway barbaarteennii ma noola badahay ku halaagmayaan bishii socotaba barbaa bilaash loo laynayaa barh baan meydkood lahayn badweyntu intay liqdaa bahal kala goostayoo haddii uu barhkii kaba soo badbaada bahal kala goostayoo bahdii uu ka dhashayba baroorte dharaar kastaba barhkii kaba soo badbaada bidhaantoodaa la eegtaa bulshooyinka reer galbeedku bilaash kuma caawiyaan barbaarteennii wacnayd barh baa xabsiyada u hoyda barh baa xeryihii qaxoonti bahdoodii hore ku biiray bal eeg gobollada dalkeenna baroortaa gaadhay deriska bal eeg bulsho yahay bal eega barwaaqo haddii aad dooni baydkeennaa laga helaa baradaad ku barbaartaybaa badhaadhuhu kaa xigaa bal maantaba baashi aaway
Thank you very much for that, Abdulrazak. You're really an inspiration to all of us who dream of being able to write poetry in Somali as well as you do. So, mashallah, well done for that. Next up, we have Halima Sadia Abirahman, who has also volunteered with us at Somali Week Festival and was also our peer researcher. She's studying pharmaceuticals at university. She's previously worked with us, like I said, and she's also reluctant to call herself a poet. But once you listen to her amazing emotional poetry, I think you will disagree and call her a poet. Well done. Thank you. Halima.
Assalamu alaikum. Okay, cool. I've taken part of this research, and it had made me think about people that said that they've firstly introduced their poems to others and how much of a difference it made to them and what kind of relief they had from it. I've been writing for almost 4 years now, but for myself. I've been writing a diary, and it was purely for me and for nobody else. I found that I did write poetry when I felt nervous, when I felt like I was going through some sort of a stress, and I have two for you. One is about not being guided anymore because I'm now falling into adulthood, and another one is about my ayaya and my journey in Somalia. So I will start off with the guidance. Sorry, I'm very nervous. August 2016. You have got me spinning, round and round we go, into the hectic, unbeatable world where we are all running towards that which we do not know. Yet, my fate is meant to strengthen this, though it fluctuates like a boat in the river, unsure where to sail. Rocks and rocks we go. There are tiny moments of hope. It feels as if the world stops and stares with me into the horizon where the light seems so far away, then I hear that clock ticking away, dragging me back to reality. Tick, tock, and we still go. Does that mean I'm old now? The more it ticks, the more I turn to the glow of your face, which sadly I haven't seen for a while. Does that mean I have conquered the course of the waves which once led me to the unknown? So dark, pitch black, dark, yet on I go. I go, but I find no way. I go by myself, where there are no light unless you lit up your light and guide me. I've told you that the second one is about my ayeyo. She's the only grandparent alive. I have no other grandparents alive, and I met her in 2014, where I expected so much of that family member that I was disappointed at the end of my journey because she didn't give me the love that I wanted and the love that I might deserve. Waan ku jeclahay, I love you. Words I wouldn't dare utter from my mouth. Aan ku barto, let me get to know you. The constant phrase circulating through my brain, captured underneath my skin. eye to eye, or shall I say, dust to dust for you. 3 generations long. I had my chances of putting my head gently on your soft thigh, though I dared not. I saw your kindness towards all others except me. I longed for it more than any other, but you hung me up like a wet, untouched party on the washing line. Oh, sorry. Okay. I saw your kindness towards all others except me. I longed for it more than any other, but you hung me up like the wet, untouched bati on the washing line above your head, fully forgotten throughout the day, drying out on its way. I have to try again, I thought. Embrace you with my tiny arms, hold you tight enough in hopes I would never let go of that scent. Just like that, I hung around you, swung by you to catch your breath, simply looking up for me. A single gaze was all I achieved. I felt time rushing me into all the wrong corners of that spacious, empty, and lowly bedroom. I wondered what made me felt like that. I had more than enough around me, perhaps even more. I couldn't shake the feeling of guilt away from me, as if I owed her an apology. On a cloudless night, I tossed and turned in my bed, disturbed by all the mosquitoes biting me dry. I stood up and lit the light in my bedroom, stared at myself, counting the imperfections, one by one in a tiny mirror. It dawned on me, shook me up, troubled me, and paralyzed me in shock. I represented him, looked just like him. Him. The other half who I received the looks from, who I resemble and fully represent. The one whose fairer skin made me feel like the ugly duck of the family, of the melanin-popping family for years. I reminded her of him and clearly stirred old memories. I made up countless scenarios for her until my head felt hot with fever, and instantly I felt the burning urge to leave her. The anger and resentment stayed with me for the majority of the journey. Oh, Ayeyo, it couldn't have been that hard to love me.
That was amazing. Halima, Sadia, Abirahman. It was really emotional. Thank you for sharing that with us. I know that wasn't easy. Okay, next up we have Yasmin Osman. She is a 23-year-old poet from West London. She's a graduate in psychology. She's been writing for many years and started sharing her work this past year. She's been involved greatly with poetry and shah, which gave her confidence to share her work more online and in spoken word poetry. Yasmin?
Hi. That was so brave. Where did she go? Oh, she's gone. I love her for that. This first poem is called Untitled. Cognitive dissonance is a straining feeling caused by an inconsistency in thoughts, feelings, beliefs, and actions. It's a cute little theory in psychology that Westerners learn in colleges and unis, and they feel like they can relate slightly. Diaspora is another cute word that Westerners learn and feel it's interesting to read about, being stripped of where you are from to adopt to somewhere that doesn't represent you. Representation. Taught in Western school systems, they learn about how it is important to have yourself seen in the media to feel valid as a person. I am not from here, but I am from here. Somalia is my home, but here is my home. For me, those words are not cute and learnt, they're ugly and felt. Cognitive dissonance perfectly describes the depression felt when everything that is a norm for someone my age goes against my beliefs and my thoughts are curious. Cognitive dissonance is my little cousin asking me what is and what is not acceptable in our culture with confusion in her eyes. Cognitive dissonance is people in my faith hearing this and understanding of a clear choice to struggle instead of give in. It's people not of my faith hearing this as a cry for help when it is not. Cognitive dissonance is my religious war. Diaspora. Wanting to go home even when you are home, diaspora, embedding itself so deep in my tendencies that the concept of home is confusing. I love travel, being a secret cry of I do not belong anywhere, so being anywhere at all feels the same. Not afraid of new land because it's all a new land. Diaspora, going back to the homeland, being met with questions of what does snow feel like, and I bet you didn't think you had a home till now. Feelings of being untitled, knowing that even that is a title, knowing that 10 other things are forced on my identity before I even open my mouth to speak. Untitled, meaning others assume the title for me. Untitled, meaning spending my life editing the title enough to not constantly feel cognitive dissonance because I am not represented and there is no blueprint. Young and Somali is a book not written yet. It's a book that, unlike Westerner, doesn't have 300 versions in a bookstore. It's unspoken, untitled, so title it. Okay. And the next one's called Distance. Between you and I, it's bearable, but between me and me, it's impossible. What am I doing there? I don't recognize that new home I've made myself. What am I doing? Am I okay? I was so concerned about freedom and non-restraint that now I've gone too far out. What if this hike back doesn't quite work out? I feel like I'm losing a lot of myself along the way, but the ugly parts, but they've always been with me. I cannot be anything but this train of thought carefully guided by life experiences. Life experiences are our communications with Allah. He teaches me a lesson while my attention is elsewhere, so he teaches it again till I understand, the most merciful. My worth is no more than that. My worth is no less than that. Everything that I am encouraged me to move forward in whichever way I feel most safe. And when I slip and fall into danger, I respond to his lessons with worship. The worship that is patience, the worship that is strength, the worship it is to forgive myself. I don't know what it is you expect from me, but don't. I'm a blade of grass whose growth was a personal war, and now that I have reached the length of summer sunlight, it does not please me to hear you say the smell I give off when cut is your favorite scent of the year. I do not blossom for you. I did not overcome all I have overcome to be anything pleasant to be consumed. I'm not an aesthetic, melody, or soft thing to be felt. I'm a warrior in life, and Allah chose this body as my home. So do not tell me about this home of mine as if I am not much more that lives within it, and do not try to sell me a new one. I close my eyes instead of looking at the billboards on my Uber ride home. I did not invite those thoughts and feelings, forced consumerism at every turn. The only filter we should use is one that we create ourselves to preserve our own light and protect our own energy.
That was amazing, well done. Next up, we have Sagal Farah, who also was one of our peer researchers. Sagal is a 19-year-old spoken word poet who's been performing for 3 years now, but has been writing ever since she can remember. She writes about her multifaceted identity and the story of being a Somali living in London. She's studying English at university and is inspired by writers such as Warsan Shire, Harry Baker, and Mustafa the poet. Sagal?
The first poem that I'm going to do is called Run, and it's basically about the recent epidemic of knife crime within the Somali youth. And I'm sure we've all had stories, here and there, so this is just a few merged together and a few that I've imagined as well. So yeah, it's called Run. Often, deep into the sky's metamorphosis, we ask ourselves, where did it all go wrong? Reminiscing du'as, dropping into songs. Each night you'd spend a little longer out. See you shut us out. Lyrics reached a new level of loud. headphones drowned out our drones. Perhaps you found love in guns where it didn't quite exist in us, where you filled the void in the cracks of the concrete, where you offered yourself up as their meal, where some days you just couldn't see, vision clouded by the streets, Hoya pleads for you to be that fetus again, swears that she'll endure 9 months and more if it'll put this Iyad Suq Nimor to an end. There's just something about Somali mothers and their sons, where love doesn't fathom the word enough, where each time her heart breaks, your return glues it back again. She tells the GP, metal against chest, never quite finding a moment's rest. Mountains lay in her head. Months pass and she's imagined your funeral to death. Like a curse, war followed her every steps. There the bombs may have dropped, but here the knives replace that mess. Like thorns they sprout out, littering the streets, and like the splitting of the sea, these days we never seem to meet. Gum and tarmac know you better than me. And you thought that was it, as you fought with your eyes who said wars within didn't exist. Sight blocked by an eclipse, almost saw flashes of him. Caught a glimpse of his wing, peeped the glow of the tip, or was it black like your sins? Boy, you thought you'd been killed. As life ripped out of your wounds, spilt like ink, split like Eve, your rib stumbled with anything but ease. Drifting in and out of sleep, they pleaded with you. Sung the lullabies of sweet days, convinced you of better ways. Don't drift into death, stay awake, stay awake. Pulse faltering through the telephone line. She left war only to find that war traveled to this land too. Settled on the streets that Tahrib fetishized, glamorizing chips and knives, Diana and crime, unaware that this is no place for a child. We are losing our men to a genocide. They see street lamps shining at night and mistake it for the stars in the sky. A little light in this life. The streets, my brothers, will eat you alive. It'll get at your pride. It'll mark its flag and colonize your life. You wouldn't stop crying, they said. You couldn't stop crying, they wept. As you watched your life wither away, a judge and a jury inciting your pain. Home became a bed and a sink, shrunk to a cage-sized ditch, mold etching along the walls, decay dripping down the halls. Every step felt like a fall. You awoke most nights drenched in sweat and blood, thinking you'd heard the reaper's call. And truth is, you'd tried your best, tried to live a life unlike all of their mess, turned blind and deaf to the whispers that the apple doesn't fall far from the tree, that likeliness runs in communities, that you'd too run into cuffs and the police, that the scanning of their fingerprints held yours too, that these fables could ever carry some truth. And I guess it got to you. Their words became your actions. And now here you lay, another statistic, another body we mention when we pray. The streets don't love you, and won't love you and can't ever love you? What does concrete know of compassion? The same ground hoards your loved ones, guarding them from you with dust. The streets don't know of love, they know of lust, and of how easily you trust, how their survival is a must. So they feed off of you like a leech. They suck the warmth out of your blood. They drain the life out of your lungs. When you're told to be back before dark, run, my child, run. This second poem I literally just finished writing yesterday, and I decided to perform it to sort of balance out the negativity from the first poem. And I feel like all of the beautiful parts of our culture are showcased in weddings, so this poem is called Weddings. We ululate into the night. Here laughter weds life, joy transcends into the sky. My people are the aftermath of rain. They filter through the room like waves. They're the proof of ease after pain. I've never seen a rainbow as bright. Beards dripping in sunsets. Dirats taken out from Bossaso's beach. My people shine on me as the sun does. Spilling gabe and tea from dusk till dusk, air dancing in musk, here love is a must. We build towers out of mud, we speak poems and trust, but somehow we lose a part of our tongues. Like Babel, no longer able to find the mother in us. But my people talk with their hands. They walk as if they run this land. Like camels through the deserts and its sand, they carry mountains on their backs. They lift the world with them, even if it slows them down in their tracks. And so here, we ululate into the skies. Streaks of blues and whites drape my tongue on these nights. And I swear to you, my people are the clouds' silver lines. The cup half full, the Ramadan moon, the proof of life. And though we may be gap-toothed, tongueless, sometimes stumbling, we wear pride like second skin. Here, ships never sink. Impero Italiano are no longer let in. Here, we aren't cups half full. No, we are cups filled to the brim.
Well done. Next up, we have another Yasmin. Yasmin, also known as NomadSspeaks. She's a writer, she's a poet whose socially conscious words have touched the hearts of many women. Her poem, Dear Sister, which tackles the issue of domestic violence, has formed a great social movement within the Muslim community. Following the release, Yasmin was invited to speak in Parliament and continues to campaign against this taboo subject of violence. Her thought-provoking words have been widely received from a huge number of women's organizations as well as victims themselves. We're really glad to have you today. Yasmin NomadSspeaks.
Thank you, Cade, for inviting me, and I thank my brothers and my sisters as well. The poetry I've heard tonight is so beautiful. I'm so inspired. But I'll start off with I Am My Mother's Daughter. It's circa 1991, Somali Civil War. She is strong, so strong as she walked past the bullet storm, not knowing where she was going, only where she came from. She has lived a lifetime, still only 18. Oh Lord, the horrors that she must have seen. With that sadness in her walk, that gentle smile with the soft words that she spoke, it's easy to forget the heartbreak and the hardships that she quotes. Her purity intact, her innocence gone, unafraid of the darkness, she is now all alone. Alone and lost in the rubble of what once was, in a land where women live being used as weapons of lust and cruelty. Its men divided by a name of forefathers they have never known. Warlords' greed consumes the city as its failing government crumbles at the feet of fallen men. That Independence Day victory gone, no harmonious national anthem song. Just the country collapsing with the burning flames of piled up bodies who took the wrong turn. For this was their fate, no matter how barbaric and senseless the end. Let us pray that they are at the seventh heaven gate and their death was not in vain. Amidst all the chaos and confusion, this is all that she holds dear. I am my mother's daughter, for that much is clear. Where do you see yourself? She whispered to the wind. It replied with the heat of the sun on her back, as she carried her world on her shoulders into a horizon unknown, unruly, and unsure. As she entered into this new time zone, she swore to someday make it home. Home of the brave soldiers whose march gave you a sense of pride. That fertile land of poets whose words would sometimes make you cry. The love of proverbs, the comforts of freshly scented cinnamon in that shah followed by that sheko. But when the time came, she crossed over the red earth, rivers of red blood, towards her a yellow sun, above her into an ocean of deep blue, into a new birth of white faces and different races, all together, over them a grey sky in which they reside somewhat peacefully. You made her so angry that for the first time in a long time she cried and knelt down in her mind, her face scarred with the tears as they rolled on by. Cut inside though, as she was stabbed 1,000 times, deep down in her soul, that day a part of her died. To her knees she fell, screaming as the onlookers passed her by. We are one people, one language, one tradition, our ancestry and history, but with he said politics, it destroyed us, separated us, made us fatherless, motherless, and above all, it made us homeless. When will we return? She again whispered to the wind. It replied with the raindrops on her face, a dark cloud over her sky, a cold chill that swept on by. She crossed that zebra crossing, but vowed never to say goodbye. And again she invokes the strength of those before her, and she takes solace in the fact that she is her mother's daughter, for that much she's sure. This one's called Dear Sister. It's based on a true story. It happened to somebody that I was very close to, and it's surprising what kind of cruel world we live in and the things that I think us as women have to endure at times. And I think as Somalis, we tend to hide or hush negative things, seen as taboos. It's aib, you can't talk about it, so this is where that came from. Dear sister, why do you cry? Wipe those tears that flow ever so abundantly from your eyes. Don't you know that you're beautiful? Dear sister, why do you lie to yourself and not see your true worth? Oh, dear sister, why do you cry? For you are a force to be reckoned with, a driving tool that should not only motivate you, but should only show you the meaning of what it is in fact being you. Dear sister, stay patient as you follow in the footsteps of a seer. Don't falter and show him your weakness. Continue on the path to righteousness, but don't neglect your innocence and freedom. Wipe your tears now, sister. Get out of the darkness and find yourself under the light. Come out to play, for the world is yours for the taking, indeed such a vibrant place. Let the wind blow under your veil, feel the sun on your bruised skin. Listen to the birds sing again. Sister, let the good life in. Sister, don't go back to paranoia and name-calling, heavy footsteps in the corridor, your heart beating of fear in his wrath as he opens that bedroom door, for he will never change. He took the soul of beauty and made it believe it was unattractive to the point where you could not face yourself in the mirror. All by him, you blamed yourself for the blended shades of black, blue, and purple. So unrecognizable, sister, you became, that you almost forgot your name. But dear sister, remind me, didn't he promise that he wasn't going to do it again and again and again? Don't let his greed steal your essence because he is weak. He's not a man from our scriptures, he's not a man from our book. He's a low-down, dirty human being, and I measure this by all that he took. Far too long, sister, you have suffered within these four walls. Don't let his decision define your very reason for existing. Don't let his hands dictate where you go and who you follow. Don't let his words cut deeper than a knife in your throat, making it hard for you to swallow. Sister, don't let his aura consume yours, taking your shine as his price for all of your sorrow. Sister, run now, for only the Most High knows if you're promised tomorrow. Thank you very much.
Thank you, that was wonderful. Next up, we have one of our headliners, Mohamed Mohamed, also known as Mohamed Writes. Is alongside being a poet, he's also a teacher and a football coach based in South London. He's the founder of Unheard Words, a project focused on using poetry as a tool for interfaith engagement. And Mohamed often explores the topic of faith, identity, politics, masculinity, and sport in his poems. So welcome to the stage, Mohamed Mohamed.
Assalamu alaikum. I'll be very honest with you, I am super nervous. And I think that's just solely because of the nature of this event more than anything else. I've never had this sort of space created for the Somali poet. I know there's many Somali organisers who invite Somali poets, but to organise one around Somali poetry, oof, mashallah, mashallah. So yeah, my name is Mohamed. I am from Southwest London, Battersea. My favourite Somali singer is Fuad Umar. I know, right? I'm a Liverpool fan, and all of this has nothing to do with my poetry. But I just wanted to humanise who I am. So I'm going to read a few poems. Allah. This one's called Hoarder. So like someone who hoards stuff. They hold something for too long. They hold it, right? My Somali's whack. Asha understood, so I made it. I made it. So yeah, this one's called Hoarder. Tohoyo. She's a champion hoarder, grasping onto late linen like lovers do mornings. Your warmth keeps me going, but we have to wake up. Not like that. Stored in old Nike and Fila boxes, she would hold on to letters from the homeland, ones she kept from the 90s, before connecting in seconds today. Rusty pencil marks in everything Somali, from Ma'ano to Dahabshil Kutno. Storage space at home is full on an empty stomach. There is always room for laces, from when her first pair of shoes, her 80s jacket from Marca, jackets with the shoulder pads. After having my brother, 4 children in, there were more spaces for memories. 5. She clings on to Marca. She knows tomorrow's nostalgia like yesterday's broken windows, the ones left point blank, raids when he stayed, Abo. Why memories of my father held at gunpoint for gold she doesn't care for. She knew she wasn't going to lose a husband for dowry. Give up for survival. She sings poems from her grandmother, Ayeyo. None I know but those she murmurs in the kitchen, rolling bread, bur, bajio. She calls me, Malahwen! Kali! Back of the kawa so digi. Ki warqa the kujira. Thank you. So yeah, my poetry is a bit of a mix. So I don't actually have any poems that are like full out Somali, because as displayed, my Somali is fish and chips. I've never seen Somalia. I've never smelt Somalia. I've never touched Somalia. My mum fled during the Civil War to Egypt while she was pregnant with me. So I've never had a chance to be back. My dad's only visited recently. So Somalia holds a really interesting experience in my life. So, and I hope one day I'll visit. And my dad jokes, come to Somalia and, get Somalia to qualify for the football competitions. Anything, just anything. Even African nations, let's start there. So I do hope, actually one day, I really, really hope that I can do something of that nature. And, it will improve my Somali. So this next poem, it's so true. So this next poem is actually about football. Because football is very close to me, is very close to Somali boys. And girls, absolutely. Oh, fun fact, just to defend myself, fun fact, my niece plays for Chelsea. And this is in 2011, 2012. So she was like the only Muslim, hijab-wearing Somali football player in the Chelsea girls team. So I pushed her. I made sure. I tried to, So forgive me. I hope I got your back now. So I really pushed her. Unfortunately, 2 years later, she was later let go. But that's just the experience of sport. And, that made her a better person and a bigger person. And she's really talented, better than me. But anyway, this next poem, so it's really about the love affair that young Somalis have with football. And it's about one particular competition where Liverpool are excelling in. I know, right? I should give him Somali passport or something. But anyway, so this poem is called Stepovers in Silver. We fell on concrete grounds. The ball would dance between our feet, dress our stepovers in silver, the ones that echo glory between Gento's hands, slice through the last line like Lionel, we pray. Dreaming of a football miracle, to be picked first and declared king. Sing for us our rightful coronation. Handel lays the words for Zadok. Britain's crescendo raises a new hymn. Die Meister, die Besten, les grandes équipes. Reign victory. United tongues under one umbrella. We dance with the ball, called upon onlookers and their feet to come into our den. Jackets for post, the weak our nets, in front of challengers who envy our dazzle, only to take us down. How we fell on concrete grounds, then rise, place the ball on the spot and score to the champions! Thank you. I'm actually nuts. I wrote that for just a little banter one day. And I was like, I kind of like that poem, right? Because we don't really have many poems about football. I'm being deadly serious. Most of I spend a lot of time in the poetry library in Waterloo at the South Bank. The poetry library is amazing, go there. And all the poems centered around football, which is a good thing, is mainly aimed at children. So a very particular way of writing poems around football. So I wanted to kind of find a way to allow football to be accessible to everyone rather than it being considered only children's poetry. So I tried to experiment with that, and to be honest, I was just being a waste man. And I'm trying. Anyway, I got 2 more poems because I'm going to do a shorter set than normal. Because I talk a lot of rubbish. I'm sorry, Hanna. So this one's a bit of a more personal piece, and I always found it really interesting, crossing over my Somali identity and my Britishness and how I'm seen to other Somalis. This was my younger experience anyway, not so much now. So yeah, this poem is called Ad Ad. He's one of those Ad Ad Somalis. He said, like you, I still don't know privilege. I really don't. Like you, the only privilege I know is being male. Like you, my CV is dumped separately to the recycled bin. They don't want to read repeats. Our experience is a repeat. We are a nuisance. We bother everybody. Like you, I am stopped and searched, traveling to stop and learn. Like you, I don't have the privilege of avoiding random terrorism checks at 17. Like you, I'm an immigrant imitating a borrowed tongue. Like you. Unlike you, I know repetition validates nothing, nor a word. That's it. I think it's going to be my last one. I like to clown around on stage, but I think today I've been a bit more conservative and trying to be serious. One thing I want to plug, and this is not a shameless plug, this is a celebration of Somali organizations. I come from an organization from South London, or I say alumni. And if it wasn't for this Somali organization, and I say this with conviction, I don't think I'll be reading poetry now. Elais, who's a Somali organization in Southwest London, who are here today. Hi, guys. Hi. They're literally like my family. They are my family. And if it wasn't for the platform that Elais gave me as a young Somali who wants to try poetry and giving me platforms to do stuff like this, I honestly would never think I would continue pursuing poetry. And that's what the significance of organizations like CADE is. You know, this contributes to that, and hopefully inspires you to inspire other young boys and girls. And Somali girls are killing poetry. Now, I'm trying to push you as young brothers from the ends, but I still think I'm a pagan. That's another story. Anyway, so this last piece is what I'm going to leave you with. Do stay in touch. I'm going to be chilling at the back today, so please don't be shy. I might be a bit shy, hiding somewhere. My wife will probably take care of me. She'll be like, Mo, you need to speak to people, man. But yeah, anyway, so this last poem is called, I kind of wish I wrote more, but I think it's a poem that develops long term. I'll probably look at it in 10 years and add more to it, but that's the life of a poet. This poem is called First Day at Duxie. Wallahi, man. I used to get a whooping. Mohamed Soka! Man to Duxie later. Mom, I want to play football. I'm sorry. Mom was brutal, fam. Anyway, yeah, so this poem is called First Day at Duxie. My name fit too well in the circle. My name fit too well in the circle. My name fit too damn well in the circle. I never knew where Mum was taking me. Conviction rainbowed out of her lips. You are going to learn to pray. Don't you want Jannah? My hands met sweat like skin smothers leather. I became an expert at counting steps en route. I never knew the other side of my town until I was 7. The overhead bridge split size defined darkness. With a bland white, narrow cemented building, inside was a hanging brown steel staircase looking down at me. A man in a long white thobe planted in front of lookalikes. I only saw white kids from Monday to Friday and my reflection at family gatherings. Are you here for madrasa? My brain blurred. You said Duxie Hoyo. At home, things only came in Somali size fits all. My name fit too well in the circle of Mohammeds. Mohammed with 2 M's, Mohammed with EU, the Imam too. That year, I began sharing my tongue with strangers. ABC lip syncing with Alif, Ba, Ta. My English Somali broke dance with my first lesson in Arabic. My throat developed 2 left feet pocketed with Latin. The only thing keeping me calm was hearing the Al-Fatiha my dad used to sing when leaving me for bed. I lost my weekend for the next 6 years. Followed by a lesson on respect your parents. Akhi. Thank you very much.
Wow, thank you for that. That was amazing. Next up, we have our final performer and another headliner who's joining us today and has come all the way from Manchester? Quite a serious journey, so thank you so much for joining us here in humble London. Elmi Ali is a writer, director, facilitator, and translator based in the Northwest. He writes poetry, short fiction, and for the stage. Elmi's latest written and directed words include Survival, Royal Exchange Collab Festival 2017, Water Seeds Not Stones, a one-man show, part of Contact Flying Solo Festival 2017, amongst others. We're really honored to have you here tonight. Elmi.
Assalamu alaikum. I'm very, very happy to be here, and I'm very, very humbled by everyone who's read. So hold tight, everyone. I'm trying to start the thing, if it works. Sorry, my fingers are sweaty, so it won't read. Cool. Bismillah. So I've got a few poems to read. I'm just going to read and not talk so much, so that I have maximum poetry and minimum me. Knife crime is apparently going crazy everywhere, especially in London. So I'm going to read a poem, two poems actually. One called Permission to Speak, and the other called Brain Dead. So, permission to speak for boys who are taught to hate. It is not okay to raid shopping malls. It is not okay to drop bombs. Please watch the news. Read between the lines. Be curious. Please watch the news. Read between the lines. Learn about the environment. Be curious about the world. It is your inheritance. You must stand guardian. You must understand its design. You must learn patience, practice growing things, master cooking, learn to work with your hands, and begin to seek out love, because there is nothing but life, but humanity. Believe in yourself. Believe in the world. You have allies. They're nations of boys as clueless as we all are. Just as surprised at the fact of life as you and I. Just as prone to destruction, to distraction. Careless with our stories and generous with our faith. Boys who believe in heroes. All the boys who are sensitive to injustice. Boys who fall in love easily. Boys who don't admit to things, boys desperately trying to be men, always gullible boys, boys trying to speak back to the world, the restless boys, the not so easily satisfied, the rude boys, the antisocial order boys, boys with issues, especially you. This is your world. Look up, wise up, stand up, speak up, go against the grain, articulate before it's too late. Thank you. Brain dead, if I find it. Sorry, this is how it goes when you're trying to read poetry through your phone. Don't mind the way mind works thoughts. It's how shit works. Like the frontal lobe at the front of the queue, clocking in 9 to 5, redacting yesterday's dreams, documenting loss on pay slips, THC trips, blunts forced to dull trauma, no consequences for pleasure, like the morning after pill. But ain't I stillborn if the world is on its way around me, too tongue-tied to cry out life, ankles shackled, cranium hollow, dick hard, but beat balls and gold chains and pants hang low with an Asbo-like history. Still, sun flames past, morning to noon then night, imagination bloating belly. I swallowed a passport, a waiting room, a white savior complex. Shit is too hard to digest. Left to attest to superficial milestones hanging in the balance like hemorrhoids. You can barely stand the pain. always peacocking. Life floats by and color don't matter no more. We're all space dust and matter, all ephemeral, liberated things, dandelions floating to lay root. And everything that happened en route was neurons misfiring and bad dreams and night terrors. And color catching wasn't a game played in white cotton robes, and black wasn't pegged to poplar like laundry. And home isn't a flaming parchment of prayer disguised as a pirate on BBC. And half the world isn't hungry. And who said C4 marbles and bell bearings don't make for a good death when you've got nothing to live for? And who thought my soul could be saved? And who promised you 1,000 virgins? And how do I wake up from being awake too long, desensitized to wrong, the pixel generation, all our thoughts made up of cells, carefully partitioned, maximum security, the kind that lock up, hem you in, blight you, water you down, like the frontal lobe at the front of the queue, clocking in. 9 to 5, redacting yesterday's dreams, but ain't I still born, still alive? Even if the world is on its way around me. Tongue slowly learning to unfurl. Thank you. I write quite a bit, and mainly in English, but I'm trying to sort of go to the gym and learn how to write in Somali, acquire muscle. It's quite difficult. But I'm going to read a poem about the difficulty of sort of writing or thinking in the various languages in which my thoughts occur. So this is on writing, and it's for a poet called Jane Cortez, who's a poet from the sort of jazz period. Very fantastic woman. So on writing for Jane Cortez. My rhymes is stowaway, is all hands on deck, is Atlantis, is no panties, is skinny dipping, is pirates sleeping, is scurvy spitting, is lemon haze tripping, is shrooms and truffles, is all our troubles, is four seasons, is fish out of water, is funk, is deep funk, is music under tongue, is reruns, is hit me baby one more time, is blue, is blue, is blue. It's East Africa, it's Exodus, it's saxophone, it's big-ass hone, it's togder, it's markacadey, it's bur'u bodweyn, it's toso, it's kutirsadeye, it's terrible. It's terrible. It's terrible. Thank you. We don't have a lot more time, so I will give you a choice. Do you want to hear a poem that I wrote for my mom? Do you want to hear a poem about Tahrib? Or do you want to hear a revolutionary poem? Oh, my mom. Oh, okay, cool. Bismillah. Table manners for my mother. She walks in on me every now and again and catches me confused and thirsty, trying to gulp down the whole world. And she, calm and composed, always impressed at her son's tremendous feat, says, Tartib is Dylan. But the heedless are hard of hearing, under siege, trying not to leave anything behind, chewing through a mouthful of hardship, chasing serenity with fingers aiming straight for the bottom of the jar. She knows she's almost always talking to herself. I hungrily wax off a plate of plenty before my eyes, a plate of plenty before my eyes. I have no ears for old words, for what she always calls to, for what words to unknot, what kink, for what will definitely aid the colic. She, wise eyes, sees the cramps coming on. She tries to read me back into the length of her arm. She knows the spots where to be coaxed. Under what shoulder blades lay what burps, what relief to be revealed, what remedies passed down. She has done it many times. I think I have outgrown her, bloated as I am, full of the whole world, writhing with pain and roaring with pleasure, fevering with the injustice of entitlement. She is long-sighted and watches from a distance as I squat and stretch and gag on regurgitated thoughts, as I measure myself against the worlds I consume and swallow whole. She has never once asked me why I'm hungry. She has never once failed to remind me to slow down, to experience, to savor, to chew. Thank you. I can read this. It's called Pirates and Co. because I like pirates. Can you swim? Do you sometimes wear skirt-like wraps? Do the words "Waria," "Naya," and "American dollar" mean anything to you? The Somali Pirate Society wants you. We have Saudi oil tankers, rich holidaymakers, and resident Korean tuna trawlers. Register now at our local offices and we'll even throw in a free motorized dinghy. The Somali Pirate Society. We're making water profitable. And finally, Bismillah. You know what? I'll do something from my head. Prometheus and the Dictator. And this poem is in honor of a poet that's very close to my heart, that's currently in jail for a free speech issue in the very wonderful Republic of Somaliland, which I love very much, but I also think should practice the freedom of speech. So for Naima Abwan Qoranay, Prometheus and the Dictator. I'm playing pro. 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 Prometheus on the rebound. I'm unbound. I double dutch to the future. Suture sparks into steeds. I'm hungry for deeds. Limbo in the loop while fiends do the weeding. Medusa's in feeding, a Mau Mau is breeding. Bring a match, bring a machete. Let's mosh pit these rebels. No bass, no treble, just a slight, light bite to the devil. Pitchfork tongues, ruin all the fun. World is for the rich. Baba was had me in stitches, laughing off a fit. Swallow whole songs at your beat on a tablet. Break a hot hell like a billboard prophet, hung by the nose, striking a pose we strive to oppose. Infinite foes. So I told the Dictator, subliminal virtuosity makes all things porous, and I slipped through mental locks unbridled to meet you in arranged matrimony at the altar of your psyche. Then you find your very self humming to my tunes. Then you find your very self humming to my tunes. Then you find your very self humming to my tunes. You've grown to love me. You say I'm crazy, call me a loon, but I'm catchy. Iambic is my pentameter, so I come again, repeat myself so you can catch me. You got me? Incarcerate me now, and it's time to flip verse. See, I've been kicked and I've been pushed so out of verse. Watch the walls closing in, pick up a beat. Pick up a beat and serve my sentences through bars. And so I told the Dictator, diabetic strong men with peptic ulcers and gout, who bark childish orders as snot-nosed rebel soldiers, I told them it had to halt. So they dropped their guns, lit bonfires to burn effigies of hate and violence that declared them criminal. And so I told the Dictator, naturally, all I want to do is neo-colonize your native mind, take you back and weed those foreign thoughts that have made the now scarce fruits of your rich soils cursed. Watch your climates climax in their first subsistence with the insistence that you feed your people's hunger for thought. And so I told the dictator, call me a traitor, send my brainwashed kin to spill my life, then sing me martyr, for I am high treason, but you can't quell our grassroots dissidents. Shoot the messenger, but deliverance has come. So when you come, oppression on your barret, semi-automatic on your right, balancing your pot belly, I shall cower, but my feet will hold, and my fists will fold before I surprise you, gesticulating incessant obscenities in your direction to remind you of your current state of fodder. Pass through the intestinal tracts of male bovines, you sit there with yes man, with strong man, the flies circle, a musky mound of bullshit. Thank you.
What a way to end the night. Wow. Thank you so much for that. Thank you to everyone who came. It's been an amazing night. I am continuously inspired and humbled and amazed by all the amazing poets that are existing in London. And more importantly, for those of you who may have found yourself inspired by today, who write and who want to perhaps push yourself forward and perform, please do get in touch with me afterwards outside, because I'm looking for new poets all the time to give a platform to during Somali Week Festival. This is your future, this is your generation. I'm really here to try and make Somali Week Festival all about us and to give each other platforms before we give to others. This is our chance to really show London and to show City Hall all that we can do. So thank you so much for coming tonight. Have a safe journey home.